Nice dream match. I probably should check that out.
Is it framed up okay on your camera?
All right. Rajah, can you hear us okay?
Yes, can y'all hear me?
We can hear
Sorry,
you.
I'm just trying to do it real
You're
quick.
good. No, you're good. A busy time for you. So we appreciate you spending some time with us here today and taking the time to speak to several of the media. Obviously, a big win for you on Friday evening in Las Vegas, and I'm sure what has been a big weekend for you as well. Before we go to questions, and we do have a handful of questions here. Do you mind just to share with us a little bit about like what this weekend has been like for you? I know I saw a lot of shout outs on social media and people within the industry, congratulating you on Friday. And just tell us a little bit about what the last couple of days have been like from your perspective.
It's been pretty surreal to be honest. I think one thing that was pretty cool, honestly, is just kind of the respect of my fellow competitors, like guys I've had, differences with or raced hard with, over the last couple of years and seeing them just say good job or saying I deserved it and did the right way was pretty cool. So it was great. Got to spend some time with some really good people in my life when I got back home, and uh, that's it. Now it's back to work. So it's pretty special weekend for sure.
All right. We'll now go to the questions from the media. And to kick us off, we're going to go to Jordan Bianchi. Go ahead, Jordan, with your question.
Hey, Rajah, congratulations on the win. Is it sunk in yet that you won the race? And if it has, when did it really kind of sink in that you've accomplished this?
Man, it still hasn't. I think I'm just honestly more relieved than anything to be in the playoffs. But it hasn't really sunk in, to be honest. I think it's weird because I literally, like, one of the first things I did when I got home, I went on the NASCAR app to see where I was in points. So it was kind of cool and funny to see that. But overall, it hasn't really sunk in, but it's still pretty special for everybody involved.
Good comment. And obviously, you probably received a bunch of calls and texts and everything. So I'm curious, what was the number approximately of the number of texts and calls, and among the messages, what are a couple that stood out to you?
So we're over 600 texts. I'm pretty sure I've gotten to everybody for like a first reply. So that's really a blessing. The best one, I don't know. I mean, it's funny. I called my sister, I called my girlfriend, directly after. So that was a lot of fun to celebrate with them, and obviously my parents was there. I don't know. It's great because like friends of mine from high school, former teachers, um, former teammates, former coaches, like that's been really cool because like a lot of those guys from back home, guys and gals from back home in DC, they remembered when I was just a fan and just hoping to get to this point. So it was super special to share those experiences, and I'm ready for more.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Our next question will go to Davey Siegel. Go ahead, Davey, with your question.
Hey, Raj, congratulations, man. We know how DC gets with their sports fandom, but we also know that DC is not really a motorsports hotbed of sorts. What's the reaction been like? You just mentioned from some of your friends and your family back home, and do you think that they understand kind of the significance of what you accomplished?
Um, Man, I mean, I feel like it's a big deal because I went to like the Washingtonian Instagram account and I was on it. And I was like, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So, I mean, hopefully, right? I've realized that, with my success and or lack thereof, right, I impact the sport a good amount, more than other drivers, whether that's good or bad, right? I mean, that's kind of obvious. So, anytime I can do well for the sport and get it to new places, I feel good about it. So hopefully I can continue to perform well and, get racing to be kind of the forefront in some of those inner cities, right? I think, especially for me growing up, right? You see basketball, you see football, track and field, soccer, baseball, but racing isn't necessarily a readily available or seen thing. So hopefully I can, help that and continue to change the narrative.
Something that stuck out to me, and I think some other people as well, was after you won, it was pretty much all business. I mean, we see a lot of people after they win for the first time, they're emotional, they don't know what to say, they don't know what to do. But it seemed like you expected this to happen. I guess, is that true? And what were the reasons for the emotions that you had after the race, or maybe in some cases, lack thereof?
Man, I don't know. I honestly, I mean, as a kid, right, you always think about, oh, if I win or when I first win, it's gonna feel like this. I thought I was gonna cry like a baby, and then I took the white flag. I'm like, is this like real? And get out on the front stretch like that it just didn't sink in, and like I'm a pretty docile, like low key kind of dude anyway. So, um. I don't know why. It just didn't feel real, but like you said, it's definitely feeling like business as usual because I feel like really obviously not having the ride situation sorted out till late in the season or late in the off season, but I definitely feel like I've been written off, with how things went last year, and I feel like I showed a lot of potential. So it feels good to get going, and hopefully we can put together some more and make a good playoff run.
Cool. Thanks, Raj. Thanks, Amanda.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go to Dustin Long, and then after Dustin, we'll go to Matt Weaver. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you. Hey, Raj, I got you a couple things. I remember sitting down with you a couple years ago at Rev Racing, and you showed me your notebook where you used to keep track of all your races. And I'm curious, do you still have that? Did you put anything down off of this race yet, or what did you write about this if you do still keep that notebook?
Yeah, so I'm that specific one that is on my bookshelf at home, but I'm now like 4 or 5 notebooks in over the last couple of years. It's actually Josh, if you wanna if it's over there, y'all wanna see it. It's that great book over there. We literally just had a comp meeting and I just typed up my post race. So I've kind of like taken a step back from it. This year, honestly, Carson Holsbar has helped me a good bit. Like, okay, thank you. So here it is. I won't say notes, but this is just for 2024. But anyway, um, I think because of my background in academia and my parents being professors, right? Like naturally, I will look at things in a student type of manner. So I definitely have tried that for my years of racing late models, ARCA, and then my first stuff, my first times in Xfinity and trucks. And it definitely helped a little bit, but I think I'd kind of gotten into a rabbit hole of just trying to student it too much and versus just like driving the thing as hard as I can within reason and seeing what happens. And that's kind of how I've approached this year of just, I'll do my notes, I'll do my due diligence after it, but in the moment, at the racetrack, like I'm gonna be plugged in and just drive the thing as hard as I can and communicate it right and not just think about, okay, how am I gonna, write it out? I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Yeah, understand that. I didn't know if you, like I said, I knew it'd been a couple years. Hey, I'm curious. Obviously, this is a meaningful win for a lot of reasons. Do you take anything, the gloves, uniform, helmet, and don't use it again? Keep it, or I don't know if the Hall of Fame's asked for it or if anybody's asked for it, or you're just going to use it the next time you've got that's the next race.
Well, it's not free, so I kind of don't want to get rid of any of that stuff. It's funny you say that though. Wendy from the Hall of Fame, shout out her, she's awesome. She shot me a text the other day, I guess it was yesterday, asking for something. So I got to figure out what I would give to her. Maybe, I don't know, because like I said, that stuff is not free, it's expensive. So I don't know, maybe A-Stars can give me some new shoes or some gloves. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hate to it feels weird to say it, right? But it doesn't feel like there was anything special. Like we just executed a weekend and it just worked out for us. It feels weird, right? But yeah. So to answer your question, probably something, but like I said, it ain't free. So I don't know if I want to give much of it away.
And last thing, real quickly, I know talking with you from a couple years ago, you used to always have a 1/64th die-cast car. I think in your backpack, you'd take one for each season. And I didn't know if you were still doing that and what car you had, if you still were doing that, and what the significance of that car was for this year.
Yeah, so I did not do that. I've not done that this year, just because I wanted to kind of just kind of do my own thing and like not try to follow like one person's legacy or anything, just kind of just do my own thing. So yeah.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Raj. Thanks for the time today. My question is kind of totally no good, so bear with me. But like, I know how important going to an HBCU is to you, Caribbean heritage. Curious, we in the media, the sanctioning body, we're the ones that kind of emphasize the history of you winning, tying it back to Wendell Scott and Bubba. And I'm curious, how do you view your place in that history? And is it something that's still really important to talk about with each achievement that a Black driver makes in NASCAR?
Oh, that's a good question. I think honestly, right, it's authentic to my personality, how I grew up, right? But it also doesn't necessarily define me, right? So hopefully we continue over the years to continue to grow more representation because we see it on our pit crews. We are starting to see it, in race teams, whether it be through our engineering, our PR departments, obviously at NASCAR. So hopefully you start to see it more through the drivers. So that way, like that's not the headline anymore. It's just like how good are our drivers. So just because I mean you don't see it in any other sport, right? Like for the most part. And naturally, right, that's kind of through of the origins of the sport, but it's continuing to change. So I mean, I don't really know. I think again, it's authentic to me. It's part of my heritage, and I'm proud of it. But also, it's not like a whole personality trait of myself, you know.
And then a unrelated question. I'm curious about your kind of the genesis with Mr. H and HendrickCars.com. I know it started last year at Phoenix, but where was that kind of point of entry for you and Mr. H? And how did that turn into a full-time opportunity this year?
So the man, so him and I first met at Daytona in 2020. I've said this before. I do not think he remembers that. Same with Check House. I don't think they remember it. But I do. And so really though, the relationship started last year. Sunoco wanted to support me for their 20th anniversary and really worked out to getting partnered with Chevrolet and Mr. H, and he wanted to do it, and everybody was behind it at the Hendrick Automotive Group. So there's some really cool people. I got to meet them for the first time down in Daytona, and there's some awesome individuals over there. So I'm excited to represent them this year, and hopefully that's a partnership and relationship to go for years to come.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question will go to West. West, go ahead with your question.
All right. There we go. All right. Hey, Raj. Thanks again. Thank you again, Amanda. What does it mean to you, obviously, where, the history of you connected with Bubba, but he went ahead and just gave you complete support the moment that, you were just achieving what you achieved, where he even called you little bro. Can you share, obviously, how that connection is special to you?
Yeah, I mean it's great, right? Because I mean he understands a lot of the same things we go through, from a performance standpoint, from a moving the goalpost standpoint. I mean you get it. So I mean that's been great because he's been there every step of the way, right? And he's held me accountable for things that I need to clean up, and also he's been there to support me whenever I do stuff correctly. So obviously I think about this weekend, right? I think about last year where I messed up at Kansas and he let me know that, hey, like don't do that again. And then also Nashville when I literally did nothing wrong and I broke while leading and he was there for me then. So it's been cool to have that relationship with him and I just feel really thankful because I've got a really awesome village, not only here at Spire, but with friends and family in and outside of the sport.
And for you believed a while back that it starts with one race. So how does this build a foundation for you, just this one race alone, winning it?
I think it helps with legitimacy. I guess internally feeling that, but also like relief that there's nothing like wrong with my process. Because I've been doing a lot of the same things in terms of my daily routine, the ways I practice, how I train, how I study, that there wasn't anything wrong with the process. There were just smaller or minor tweaks and things just kind of had to fall in place. So that's the thing for me. I feel it's just like the process wasn't the issue. And so that's kind of how I'm feeling moving forward. So, well, I have to see how we replicate that over a season, right? You don't win every race. But I think we can be fast every race. And if we're not, then, make the most of that day.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, our next question will go to Deb Williams. Go ahead, Deb. Deb, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It hit, sorry about that.
Nope, you're ready. Go ahead, no problem.
Congratulations, Rajah, and thank you for your time. When you look back at your career, what role did NASCAR's diversity program play in your career?
Well, it's really the only reason why I was able to go from sim racing to real life because I did well enough in the Ignite series on there, but besides that, I didn't have any sort of pathway to race in real life, right? Like my friend Daniel Silvestri, I tested his lens car one time, but besides that, I didn't have an outlet at all. So they not only gave me my shot in 2019, they also like gave me the time to develop, right? Because you see a lot of these programs like they get a kid, they get somebody to pay for a ride for a year or however many races, and they just go to the next person and don't give them time to figure it out, to learn, to see if they're gonna do the right things to try to learn and get better. So they did that for me. They allowed me to grow. I showed up every day, trying to get better, working on the cars, learning how to race, and that they're the only reason why I got to this point now. So I'm super
Well,
thankful for the program for Rev.
how did you find out about the program, and did you go to them or did they come to you?
I knew about it for years, like seeing, Suarez, Bubba, Kyle, Sergio Pena, the Cabries all go through that program. I knew that was the thing that I was shooting for. I didn't know what was after that, but I knew if I could somehow get into that program, like we could start to get somewhere. So that was it for me. That was it, honestly. So
Okay, thank you. Congratulations again.
thank you.
All right, our next question will go to Takuma.
Yes.
Roback. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi. Congratulations, Raj and Deb actually took my thunder on that question. That was a good question. But what I wanted to ask you is, what do you think your victory as the fourth member of alum from the Drive for Diversity program, what do you think to win this year? I'm sorry. What do you think that means for the program? And how does that make you feel learning that this program is churning out, solid drivers?
Uh, I think it's special because it gives the program more eyes and shows its legitimacy, but also, I feel pretty proud of it to have played a small role. And that's really it. I hope it continues to live, right, and give kids like myself I don't want to say kid, right, because now I'm an adult, but inner city kids in particular, but also like people in general that otherwise would not have a ride, a chance to even try to learn how to race. Um, so I hope it continues to live because it's the only reason why I'm here. I know Bubba, he was gonna probably be done if it wasn't for the diversity program, and other guys have kind of used it as launching pads with funding they've had elsewhere and stuff like that. But for me personally, it's helped elevate me to where I'm at now.
And lastly, what would you say to kids who may not have that traditional pathway into racing, who comes from a background like yours? What would you say to them about where they're at and where they could potentially be in racing?
Um, I would really say there's nothing special about me. Like I don't know how else to say it. Like I just showed up. I did the little things. I listened. I paid attention. I did the work within reason, and I got fortunate with opportunities that were given to me and presented to me. But it worked out. So I guess the biggest thing is that it's nothing crazy. You just have to pay attention and listen and learn and work, and hopefully it can be your day.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will go to Greg Engel. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey pal, I would say there's one thing you can tell yourself, and you're a NASCAR winner, so there's that. So
That's very cool.
yeah. So it's only Monday. You've got, you had your your competition meeting. You had to eat lunch on the run. Here you are with us. So it may not have a lot of time to sink in yet, but has this win brought you any new sponsorship opportunities, and maybe people are tapping on your shoulder and said we're going to talk to the sponsor, or the sponsors approached us, anything like that, or is it just kind of too soon for that?
Definitely too soon. Nothing that I know of, right? My head's pretty in the sand right now just because I'm just trying to like make it out a little bit because this is honestly a new experience for me, but none that I know of right now. I'm just grateful to have the support of HendrickCars.com for the season, and hopefully I can continue to make them proud.
You said you met Mr. H and Chad down here in Daytona in 2020, and you took a Hendrick Cars sponsorship to Victory Lane on Friday. That must have been one of the cool highlights that in a weekend full of highlights.
For sure. I mean, looking at my chest, looking at the side of the truck, and it's like looking at people lined up, like it's such a surreal feeling. So I just feel a lot of pride knowing that, we had a Hendrick car suite. Hopefully they can run that Xfinity car a little bit more, and then we can sweep the whole weekend.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have one follow-up question here. We'll go to Jordan for that. Jordan, go ahead with your question.
Thanks again. As you're starting to have success now, how do you keep this in perspective and not get pulled in all these different directions and everything? And you talk about keeping your head down, but how do you do that with all of this going on?
I think just staying true to the process, not changing my routine, right? Like I'm still getting up at the same time every morning to go to the gym, still going to the shop every day, still eating some of the same foods. I think keeping that consistency, talking to my same people in my life, still like playing iRacing sometimes, still trying to do homework whenever. Like I think that's the things that will help me keep the same energy, I think, because I mean, it's been hard today, like having to figure out how to navigate, getting around and scheduling and personal things I have to accomplish, and then okay, then we got to travel this day and stuff like that. So just trying to keep as much of the same routine as in place as possible has been, what I've been trying to do.
Very good. Thank you again.
All right, a big thank you. Squeeze in one more here. Dustin, did you have a follow-up?
Yes, real quickly. Thanks.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
appreciate it. Hey, Raj, obviously I know senior at Winston-Salem State Motorsports Management degree is what you're pursuing. Is there a project you're working on or something you still got to do, or is it something you're trying to balance along with, like you say, all these things that you've got to do for homework this week?
Well, I have 4 classes this semester. They're all online, but there's like modules due every like week or two. So, yeah, I haven't even looked at it to be honest, man. Because the thing is like you can't like I almost said a bad word, but like you have to like put in like actually like be actually what's the word, like mentally plugged in to doing the work. Like you can't just like not be like paying attention and do the work. So that's one thing that's really hard because you have to be fully like mentally there for racing, right? But you also have to do that for school. So that's been one thing that's been really hard for me as I've continued to thankfully get hired through the racing ladder. But once I graduate in December, I'll really be able to let the reins loose.
Okay, so it's December is when you'll graduate instead.
December, yeah. I was gonna graduate in May, but literally we raced Darlington, and I want to walk across the stage, so I'll just do it in December.
So what's your next project, or what's the next thing that you have to do for classwork or something in the next week or two?
I can look on Canvas if you want me to. I can just look. Stand by. So, in my physical science, I have what day is it? 4th. I have something to do on the 8th, and then for this one class, I have another module due on Thursday. For accounting, I have something due on tomorrow. Ah, great. Yeah. So yeah. Hey.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. So what's due
No
tomorrow?
worries. I need to look at it at some point, so it's probably a good thing that I looked at it just now.
So what's due for tomorrow? What do you have to do for tomorrow then?
Chapter assignment for managerial accounting. Are there any accounting people that would like to do my homework? I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I totally understand, Roger. I felt the same way about accounting homework as well. So a big thank you for spending time with us today. I know you have some other additional interviews following this one. So thank you for hopping on, and we wish you the best of luck as the season progresses.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. And to all the
Thanks,
media who
Raj.
joined us as well, a big thank you for joining us. I will have audio and video from this session available both on NASCARmedia.com. We'll also shoot it out by email. If you end up not receiving it and needed it, please feel free to reach out. We look forward to having you guys on again soon. Thank you.